The rain hammered the stained glass windows of St. Mary's Episcopal Church like fists on a coffin lid. But it was the whisper from the back pew that hit Joshua harder than any storm. "That's him, the ghost from the velvet rope," a voice hissed, sharp as shattered crystal, turning heads like dominoes in a graveyard. In that frozen heartbeat, as the organ swelled with amazing grace, Joshua felt the noose of his past tighten around his throat. Because Eleanor Hawthorne's funeral wasn't just burying her body, it was exhuming his soul. Joshua gripped the edge of the wooden pew until his knuckles bleached white, the scent of lilies and wet wool choking him like regret. He'd come here to say goodbye to the woman who'd become his unlikely anchor in this sleepy corner of upstate New York, not to face the specters she'd unwittingly summoned. With her sharp wit and sharper gin and tonics, had hired him 6 months ago to walk her ancient basset hound roofs through the fog-shrouded paths of Willow Creek. What started as a gig scraping by on odd jobs had bloomed into late-night confessions over chamomile tea in her Victorian parlor, where she'd pat his hand and say, "Darlin', life's too short for closets, even the walk-in kind." But now, as the priest droned on about eternal rest, Joshua's secret life, the glittering, gut-wrenching nights as Jade Vortex, drag superstar of Manhattan's underground, was clawing its way out of the grave right alongside her. He'd fled the city after the scandal, a leaked video of him mid-performance, lips synced to Dancing Queen, caught in a tangle with a married producer who'd promised the world and delivered only whispers of faggot when the tabloids came calling. The fallout had been biblical, gigs cancelled, friends ghosting, his face plastered on every gossip rag from Page 6 to the New York Post. Joshua Hayes, the boy from rural Ohio who'd hustled to Broadway dreams, had shattered into Joshua the dog walker, anonymous and safe in Eleanor's shadow. Of course. On his third walk, as Rufus snuffled through autumn leaves, she'd cornered him with a photo from an old Village Voice clipping, Jade in full regalia, feathers and fire. "Honey," she'd said, eyes twinkling like mischief, "if you're hiding that light under my bushel, you're wasting both our times." From then on, their bond had been a quiet rebellion, her against her blue-blooded family's expectations, him against the world's. But today, with the church packed to the rafters with Eleanor's high society kin, cousins in pearls, nephews in Brooks Brothers, Joshua felt like an intruder in his own skin. He sat alone in the third row, his thrift store suit itching against the fresh tattoo on his collarbone, a tiny hound's silhouette, inked last week as a promise to Rufus. The dog was back at the house now, probably howling at the empty armchair where Eleanor used to knit. Joshua's chest ached with it, a grief so visceral it tasted like copper. And then the whispers grew louder, rippling through the crowd like wind through wheat. "Did you see him? The one with the sad eyes, that's Jade Vortex. Remember the meltdown? Drugs, lovers, the whole mess." Joshua's breath hitched. He risked a glance over his shoulder, spotting a cluster of middle-aged women in the vestibule, their faces lit by smartphone screens as they scrolled through grainy YouTube clips. One of them, a peroxide blonde with a hawkish nose, locked eyes with him. Recognition dawned like a slap, and she gasped, clutching her companion's arm. Heat flooded Joshua's face. He wanted to bolt, but the aisle was a gauntlet of judgmental stares, the casket a sentinel blocking his escape. The priest cleared his throat, signaling the family to approach the podium for eulogies. Eleanor's son, Harold, a paunchy banker from Connecticut, shuffled forward first, his voice booming with practiced sorrow. Mother was the epitome of grace. A pillar of this community. Blah. Blah. The rehearsed litany of a woman reduced to her junior league ribbons and garden club triumphs. Joshua tuned it out, his mind drifting to the real Eleanor, the one who'd smuggled him homemade pecan pie after his breakup with Tyler, the barista who'd ghosted him mid-makeout in a Brooklyn dive. Men are like buses, Josh, she'd cackled, pouring bourbon into their mugs. Miss one. Another'll come along, though in your case, aim for the express, Harold wrapped up. And to Joshua's horror, the old man's gaze swept the room, landing on him. And now, Harold intoned, with the warmth of a tax audit, a few words from Mother's companion in her final months. Joshua Hayes. The church fell silent, save for the patter of rain. Companion? Joshua's stomach plummeted. He hadn't prepared for this. He hadn't even planned to speak. But Eleanor's willfulness echoed in her son's awkward concession. And suddenly all eyes were on him, the outsider in scuffed loafers. Legs leaden? He rose and made his way to the podium, the wooden steps creaking like accusations. He gripped the edges, staring out at a sea of strangers. Eleanor's daughter, Victoria, sat ramrod straight in the front row, her lips pursed in perpetual disapproval. She'd visited once, sniffing around the house like a bloodhound for signs of impropriety. Joshua cleared his throat, the microphone feedback a shrill echo of his nerves. Eleanor Hawthorne wasn't just a lady of Willow Creek, he began, voice raw as gravel. She was a force, a hurricane in pearls. She taught me that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the crack where the light gets in. A murmur rippled through the crowd. He pressed on, words tumbling out like confessions. We'd walk Rufus down by the creek, and she'd tell stories of her youth, dancing in speakeasies, loving fiercely in a world that didn't always love back. She saw people, really saw them. Including me. His voice cracked on the last word, and he paused, swallowing the lump in his throat. In that moment, he glimpsed a face in the back, Alex, the town mechanic with grease-streaked forearms and a smile that could melt steel. Alex, who'd caught Joshua's eye at the local diner 3 months ago, over plates of hash browns and stolen glances. Their first kiss had been in the bed of Alex's pickup, under a canopy of stars, tentative and electric. I ain't never done this before, Alex had whispered, his calloused hands gentle on Joshua's waist. But with you. Feels right. Joshua had fallen hard, fast, nights tangled in Alex's tiny apartment above the garage. Mornings waking to the scent of coffee and motor oil. It was the first time since the scandal that Joshua had let someone in, past the walls of his reinvention. But Alex didn't know about Jade, about the fame or the fall. Joshua had sworn to tell him, but soon kept slipping away like sand. As he spoke, Alex's eyes met his across the nave, warm, unwavering. It steadied Joshua. Eleanor left me more than memories, he continued. She left me permission to be whole. To love without apology. The words hung heavy, a gauntlet thrown to his own ghosts. From the corner of his eye, he saw the blonde woman nudge her friend. Phone raised like a weapon, recording every syllable. He finished with a quote from Eleanor, "Life's a drag show. Darlin', put on your best face and dance." A smattering of polite applause followed. But as Joshua stepped down, Victoria intercepted him in the aisle, her voice of venomous silk. Companion? Really? Joshua? Mother was eccentric, but hiring. Strays? We'll be reviewing her affairs closely. The barb landed like a gut punch. It echoed the slurs from his New York days, the ones that had driven him here. He mumbled something about Rufus needing him and pushed past. Heart hammering. The rain had eased to a drizzle, the graveyard a watercolor blur of headstones. He leaned against the church's ivy-clad wall, gulping air that tasted of petrichor and panic. That's when Alex appeared, umbrella in hand, his flannel shirt damp at the shoulders. "Hey," he said softly, unfurling the shelter over them both. "You okay?" That was brave. Joshua managed a watery smile. Brave or stupid? Depends on who's tweeting it. Alex chuckled, low and rumbling, pulling him into a half-hug that smelled of pine and possibility. Screw. You honored her. That's what matters. His thumb brushed Joshua's cheek, wiping away a raindrop, or was it a tear? For a moment, the world narrowed to that touch, to the promise of what they could build here, away from spotlights and scandals. But as they walked to Alex's truck, parked crookedly under an oak, Joshua's phone buzzed in his pocket. A text from an unknown number: "Saw your speech. Jade. We need to talk. L." His blood ran cold. L for Liam, the producer whose betrayal had torched his world. Him, who'd sworn love in hotel suites and leaked the video out of spite when Joshua walked away. The funeral wasn't over, it was just beginning. Joshua slammed the truck door harder than he meant to, the metallic clang echoing like a gunshot in the quiet cemetery lot. Alex shot him a concerned glance from the driver's seat, rain beating on the windshield like unshed accusations. "You sure you're good? Look like you've seen a ghost. Worse than a ghost, a vampire. Risen to suck the life from his fragile peace." Joshua forced a nod, shoving the phone deeper into his pocket as if burying evidence. "Just family stuff. Eleanor's kin giving me the side eye." It wasn't a total lie, Victoria's glare had been a flamethrower. But Liam? That was a 5-alarm fire. Alex revved the engine, the old Ford rumbling to life with a throaty growl that usually made Joshua's pulse quicken. Today, it just amplified the knot in his gut. They drove in companionable silence at first, the wipers swiping rhythmic arcs across the glass. Willow Creek's main drag unfolding like a faded postcard, the diner with its neon open sign flickering against the gray. The hardware store where Alex sourced parts for his restorations. The library where Joshua volunteered on Tuesdays, shelving romance novels he devoured in secret. "You were something up there," Alex said finally, his voice cutting through the hum. "Talking about love without apology. Made me think." He trailed off, fingers drumming the wheel. Joshua's heart stuttered. Think what? About them? About coming out to his grease monkey buddies at the garage? The ones who ribbed him over city boys, with a wink that skirted too close to truth? Joshua reached over, squeezing Alex's thigh, solid, reassuring under denim. "Made you think about what?" Alex's grin was sheepish, boyish in a way that melted Joshua every time. "About a skin you to move in. For real. My place is a shoebox. But with you, it'd feel like home." The words landed soft as snowfall, but they twisted the knife of Liam's text deeper. "Movin'? Build a life? When his past was a ticking bomb, Joshua's throat tightened. I'd like that, he whispered, meaning it more than he could say. More than anything. They pulled up to Eleanor's, now Joshua's. Per the hurried codicil Harold had grumbled about, sprawling Victorian on Elm Street, its turrets piercing the slate sky like defiant fingers. Rufus greeted them at the door with a mournful bay, his saggy jowls quivering as he nosed Joshua's hand. The house smelled of lemon polish and loss, Eleanor's ghost in every lace doily and crystal decanter. Inside, Alex busied himself with kibble while Joshua wandered to the study, the room where secrets had spilled like ink. On the desk sat a stack of letters, bound in ribbon, Eleanor's correspondence, undelivered. He'd found them last week, poring over them like scripture. What? Yellowed and creased. Caught his eye now, addressed to "My dearest Reggie," postmarked 1952. Eleanor at 22. Confessing a love that society deemed sin. We danced in the shadows of the Cotton Club, your hand in mine like a promise I dare not voice. But darling, if heaven exists, it's in your laugh, Reggie. Her jazz pianist lover. Lost to the war, or so the family lore went. Joshua traced the elegant script, tears blurring the ink. Eleanor had lived her truths in fragments, hidden but fierce. Could he do the same? His phone buzzed again. Another text, hotel on Route 9. Room 212. Midnight. Or I go public, again. No signature needed. Liam's M.O., charm laced with cyanide. Panic clawed up Joshua's spine. He couldn't tell Alex, not yet. Not like this. Gonna grab a shower, he called, voice steady by sheer will. Alex nodded from the kitchen, Rufus at his heels, oblivious to the storm brewing. Under the scalding spray, Joshua scrubbed at his skin as if he could wash away jade sequins, the applause that had turned to jeers. He'd built this life brick by brick, the walks with Rufus turning into therapy sessions with Eleanor, her stories of forbidden dances mirroring his own hidden stages. You're a performer, Josh, she'd said once, swirling her sherry. Don't let the critics dim your spotlight. But the critics had Page 6 headlines screaming drag diva's downfall, affair with tycoon ends in tears and tweets. The video had gone viral. Joshua? Glitter smeared and breathless. Caught in a clinch that exposed not just his body, but his heart. Liam had played the victim, spinning tales of coercion while Joshua's agent dropped him like hot coal. Emerging from the steam, towel knotted low, Joshua stared at his reflection, hollow-cheeked, eyes shadowed like a fugitive's. The tattoo gleamed wetly, Rufus's silhouette, a talisman against forgetting. Alex had lit a fire in the grate, the crackle a warm counterpoint to the chill seeping through the panes. They ate takeout Chinese on the rug, low mane tangled like their limbs last night, trading stories of the funeral's awkwardness. Victoria cornered me about the will, Alex said. Chopsticks poised. Says mother's eccentricities might cost the estate. You think she left you something wild? Joshua's laugh was brittle. Wilder than a drag brunch? Doubt it. But doubt gnawed him. Eleanor had hinted at provisions, her eyes sly. The house? Money for Rufus's vet bills? Or something that would out him to this town? Small and simmering with small-town scrutiny? As dusk bled into night, Alex pulled him close on the couch, lips brushing his temple. Stay tonight. Rufus snores like a freight train, we'll sing him lullabies. Their kiss deepened, slow and searching, Alex's hands mapping Joshua's back like uncharted territory. For an hour, it was sanctuary, bodies sinking in the firelight, whispers of stay and mine weaving a fragile spell. But midnight loomed like a guillotine. At 11, feigning a headache, Joshua slipped out, claiming a walk for Rufus. The hound padded beside him down Elm, street lamps pooling gold on the slick pavement. The motel on Route 9 squatted like a guilty secret, its vacancy sign buzzing erratically. Room 212's door was ajar, lights spilling accusatory. Liam lounged on the bed in a silk robe that screamed moneyed sleaze, a tumbler of scotch in hand. At 35, he was still devastating, dark hair silvered at the temples, jaw carved like a Renaissance villain. Jade, he purred, rising with predatory grace. Or should I say Joshua? The dog whisperer. Charming reinvention. Joshua stayed in the doorway, arms crossed like armor. What do you want? Liam? Blackmail? Again. Liam's laugh was velvet over razors. What? Darling. Always you. He stepped closer, cologne sharp as regret. I saw the clip, your little eulogy. Love without apology. Poetic. But we both know apologies are your specialty. His finger traced Joshua's jaw. And Joshua jerked back, bile rising. You leaked that video. Ruined me. For us. You were pulling away, chasing indie theater dreams. I reminded you who you were. Liam's eyes darkened. Possessive. Come back to the city. I've got a new club, Velvet 2.0. Your comeback? My dime. We rewrite the narrative. Joshua's laugh was hollow. Rewrite? You mean erase? I'm done performing for you. Liam's face twisted, the mask slipping. Then I'll erase you here. One tweet, Jade Vortex slumming it in Hicksville, new boy toy? Your mechanic beau won't like the optics. Small towns eat queers for breakfast. The threat landed like a sucker punch. Lex, solid. Straight-laced Alex, who'd admitted his own fumbling curiosities over beers at the VFW hall. Their love was new. Untested, this could shatter it. Joshua's mind raced. Tell Alex now? But Eleanor's voice echoed, dance? Darlin'. Give me time, he said finally. Voice steel. A week. Liam smirked. Victorious. Monday. Or the world knows your little Willow Creek fairy tale's a fraud. Back home, Rufus whined at the door, sensing the fracture. Alex stirred on the couch, blinking awake. Missed you. Everything all right? Joshua knelt, cupping his face, rough with stubble, eyes soft with sleep. Yeah. Ghosts. He kissed him then, fierce and forgiving, as if touch could exorcise the poison. They made love on the rug, urgent and unhurried, Joshua etching Alex's features into memory, the freckles across his nose, the way he gasped Joshua's name like prayer. Dawn broke bloody-fingered, gilding the creek where Joshua walked Rufus alone. Alex had an early shift, promising pancakes later. But as the hound tugged toward the water, Joshua's phone lit with notifications, tags from the funeral clip, already circulating on local Facebook groups. Who's the pretty boy speaking? Looks familiar. By noon, Victoria called, her tone iced. Joshua, we need to meet. Mother's lawyer, today. Regarding the estate, the lawyer's office smelled of old books and older money. Mahogany panels absorbing the light. Victoria sat opposite, flanked by Harold, their faces twin masks of entitlement. Mr. The bespectacled relic cleared his throat. Mrs. Hawthorne's will is unconventional. He slid over the document, pages crisp as fresh lies. Joshua scanned, the house to him. Funds for Rufus's care. And then, the kicker, a letter. Sealed. In Eleanor's looping hand. Dearest Josh, if you're reading this, I've shuffled off to that big speakeasy in the sky. You've been my Reggie these last months, my light in the gloom. I know your secrets, as you know mine. The world tried to bury us both, but we bloomed anyway. So I'm giving you the stage, the attic trunk. Open it. And remember, love's not a performance, it's the encore. Yours in sequins and sin, Eleanor. Victoria's gasp was theatrical. The attic trunk? Mother had things up there. Reginald's letters. Scandalous. Harold leaned forward. Predatory. This is contestable. Emotional duress. You manipulated her. I loved her, Joshua snapped, voice echoing off the walls. Like family. More. The room crackled with tension, Victoria's pearls clicking like gunfire. We'll see about that in probate. But if there's anything untoward in that trunk, Joshua Hayes, Willow Creek will know exactly who you are. As he left, trunk key burning in his pocket, Joshua felt the noose tighten again. Untoward. The word dripped with implication, aimed at his queerness, his past. He drove home, Rufus's head in his lap, the creek flashing silver beside the road. The attic stairs creaked like bones, dust motes dancing in the slanted light. The trunk was there, leather-scarred and brass-locked, a relic from Eleanor's youth. Heart-pounding, Joshua turned the key. Yellowed photos, Eleanor and Reggie, arms linked in a moonlit garden, her bobbed hair and his fedora screaming prohibition defiance. A jazz record? Scratched but intact. And at the bottom, wrapped in silk, a gown. Crimson satin, beaded and bold, the kind that whispered of hidden cabarets. Not just a gown, a costume. Joshua's fingers trembled as he lifted it, the fabric sighing like a lover's breath. Tucked in its folds, a note. Where? Just for me. Tonight. At the wake. Dance for us both. The wake. Tonight. At the community hall, Eleanor's final hurrah. Potluck casseroles and awkward toasts. Victoria's domain. A battlefield. He should burn it. Hide it. But Eleanor's dare pulsed in his veins, dance. For the first time since the scandal, Joshua felt the old fire stir, not shame, but spark. Dusk fell as he dressed in the master bedroom, mirror fogged from his shower. The gown fit like a glove, hugging his frame with scandalous elegance, off the shoulder, slid high on the thigh. He applied makeup from Eleanor's vanity, red lips, smoky eyes, transforming Joshua into no, something new. Eleanor reborn in him. Rufus watched from the bed, tail thumping approval. "Wish me luck, buddy," Joshua murmured, spritzing perfume that smelled of jasmine and jazz. The hall buzzed when he arrived, late and luminous. Heads turned as he glided in, the gown swishing like whispers. Victoria choked on her punch, Harold's jaw slackened. And Alex, Alex? By the punch bowl, his eyes widening like saucers. "Josh?" he breathed, stepping forward, hand outstretched. "What?" Joshua took it, pulling him to the makeshift dance floor where a local band crooned Sinatra. "Dance with me," he said, voice husky. No apologies. The room blurred as they swayed, Alex tentative at first, then bold, his hand firm on Joshua's waist. Whispers swirled. "Is that Eleanor's doing?" But Joshua spun, the gown flaring like flame. And for a moment, it was just them, two men claiming space in a world that had tried to shrink them. Until the door banged open. Disheveled in a trench coat, eyes wild. "Jade, there you are." The music scratched to halt. Silence crashed like cymbals. Liam strode forward, oblivious or uncaring. "I told you Monday." But this? Slumming in drag for hillbillies? "Come home." Alex stiffened beside Joshua, confusion hardening to hurt. "Who the hell is this?" Liam sneered. "His ex. The real him. Ask him about the video, the one where he..." Joshua's world tilted. "Stop." The word was a whip crack. He faced the room, heart a war drum. "This is me. All of me. Joshua Hayes. Dog walker. Lover. Survivor. Jade Vortex. The parts one hid because monsters like him made me afraid." He jabbed a finger at Liam. "But Eleanor's gone. And I'm done hiding." Murmurs erupted. "Shut." Sympathy. A smatter of applause from the older crowd. Eleanor's gin-soaked friends who'd lived their own secrets. Victoria gaped, speechless for once. Alex's hand tightened on his. "You're famous," Joshua laughed, tears streaking mascara. "Infamous. But with you, I want to be just me." Liam lunged, grabbing Joshua's arm. "You're mine." Alex moved like lightning, wrenching Liam back. "Touch him again, and you'll need a new face." Security, two burly VFW vets, hauled Liam out, his curses fading into the night. The band struck up again. Tentative. Then triumphant, "Fly Me to the Moon." Joshua and Alex danced through the chaos, the room joining in a wary waltz. Whispers became toasts, judgment thawed to curiosity. Victoria approached later, glass in hand. "Mother always did have flair." "Truce. Truce," Joshua echoed, clinking glasses. The trunk's magic, Eleanor's encore. But as the night waned, Alex pulled him aside, eyes searching. "Why didn't you tell me?" Joshua's breath caught. "Scared you'd run." Alex cupped his face, thumb tracing the gown's beadwork. "But from this, you're a goddamn revelation." His kiss was fierce, claiming. "Move in. All of you, the dog walker, the diva. Mine." In the parking lot, under stars pricking the clouds, Joshua leaned into him, Rufus leashed at their feet. The phone stayed silent, Liam's threats hollow now. exposed to light. Eleanor's ghost smiled from the shadows. Dance on, darlin'. Weeks blurred into autumn's fiery exhale. Willow Creek wrapping Joshua in its reluctant embrace like a quilt stitched from suspicion and second chances. The wake had been a fulcrum, Eleanor's crimson gown the lever that tipped public scorn toward wary acceptance. Local headlines in the Willow Gazette spun it soft. Eleanor Hawthorne's farewell, a spectacle of spirit. No mentions of Jade. But the Facebook groups hummed with speculation. Old YouTube links shared like contraband candy. Joshua fielded stares at the diner. Nods at the post office. But the whispers had lost their fangs. Dulled by Eleanor's legacy and Alex's unyielding arm around his shoulders. Life settled into rhythms that felt dangerously like normalcy. Mornings, Joshua brewing coffee in the Victorian's sun-drenched kitchen. Rufus sprawled underfoot, while Alex tinkered with engines in the driveway, radio blasting Springsteen. Afternoons, dog walks along the creek, where maples shed crimson confetti, and evenings tangled in sheets that smelled of them both, sweat and sandalwood. Laughter echoing off the rafters. Alex had all but moved in, his toolbox claiming a corner of the garage, his flannel shirts draping the banister like flags of occupation. "You're spoiling me," Joshua teased one crisp Saturday, as Alex flipped pancakes in nothing but boxers, flour dusting his chest hair like snow. Rufus begged at their feet, tail whipping. Alex grinned, sliding a plate over, golden stacks drizzled with maple from Eleanor's pantry. "Good. 'Cause I'm keepin'." He leaned across the island, kissing Joshua with syrup-sweet intent, hands roaming south. It was easy. This, love without the city's strobe-lit frenzy. No paparazzi flashes. No after-party crashes. Just them, building something solid from the ruins. But ruins lingered. Liam's silence was a sword over their heads. Joshua checked his phone obsessively, half expecting the tweet that would summon New York vultures. And the Will, Victoria's review, dragged on. Hargrove's office a revolving door of depositions. Emotional manipulation, she'd accused in emails. Seeing the whole family. Mother was vulnerable. That display at the wake proves it. Joshua fired back through lawyers Eleanor's estate afforded. Your mother's choices were her own. As are mine. But doubt gnawed, had he swayed her? In those tea-soaked confessions? Pushed too hard for the trunk's unveiling? The conflict crested on a Tuesday. Fog thick as guilt rolling off the creek. Joshua was mid-walk with Rufus when his phone rang. Hargrove. Settlement offer from the Hawthorns. They drop contest if you forfeit the house. Take a modest sum instead. 20,000. Joshua halted. Rufus whining at the leash's taut pull. Modest? That's Eleanor's home. Our home. The pause. Heavy with implication. Mr. Tempers are high. Victorious. Uncovered things. About your background. Of course. The internet's long memory. Joshua's grip whitened. Tell her no. And tell her Eleanor's words stand. He hung up, chest heaving, and sank onto a bench overlooking the water. Rufus nosed his knee, slobber warm on his jeans. What now? Boy, fight for scraps? Or fold? The dog tilted his head, ears flopping comically, and Joshua laughed despite the ache, a hollow echo of Eleanor's cackle. That night, over meatloaf Alex had charred to perfection, his specialty. Joshua confessed the call. Alex's fork paused midair. Jaw set like welded steel. They can't bully you out. This is yours, ours. But if they dig. Joshua trailed off, pushing peas around his plate. The scandal specter loomed. The video. William's lies. The headlines branding him, troubled temptress. Willow Creek tolerated eccentricity, outright infamy? That was a bridge too far. Alex reached across. Calluses rough against Joshua's knuckles. Then we face it. Together. I ain't ashamed of you, of us. His eyes held steady. Green as the creek in summer. How? After that gown? You're my hero. Joshua's throat closed. Hero? He felt like a fraud. Piecing together personas, dog walker by day. Diva in dreams. You don't know the half. The fuck-ups. Liam wasn't just an ex, he was the architect of my exile. Tell me, Alex urged. Soft but insistent. All of it. And so, fire crackling, Rufus snoring. Joshua spilled, the Ohio boy with a voice like velvet and dreams of spotlights, the drag discovery in a dingy East Village bar. Jade vortex born from thrift store glam and raw hunger. The rise, velvet rope residencies, celebrity cameos, the thrill of thousands chanting his name. Then Liam, silver-tongued producer, promising partnership in every sense. Their affair was fire, passionate, possessive, until Joshua glimpsed the strings. I ended it, he said, voice fracturing. Want a real? Not his version of it. So he leaked the video. Half-dressed, vulnerable. Twisted it into assault. I lost everything, gigs, friends. My agent called me radioactive. Alex listened. A moving face, a canvas of quiet fury. When Joshua finished, silence stretched, taut as a wire. Then Alex pulled him onto his lap. Arms a fortress. That ain't on you. That's his poison. Fierce and forgiving. And this? That's real. They made love that night with a desperation born of truths bared, slow at first. Reverent? Then urgent? Bodies a dialogue of healing. Afterward? Curled against Alex's chest. Heartbeat sinking like bass lines. Joshua whispered, I love you. The words hung. Sacred. Love you too. Jade, Alex murmured. Half asleep. Joshua. Whoever you are today. The idol shattered Friday. Joshua was at the library, reshelving Vonnegut, when Victoria swept in like a nor'easter, heels clicking judgment. We need to talk. Now. The back office smelled of musty paperbacks. She perched on the edge of the desk. All business in Chanel tweed. I've withdrawn the contest. The house is yours. Joshua blinked. Wary. Why the change? Her sigh was theatrical, laced with something softer, resignation, mother's letters. In the trunk. Reggie wasn't just a beau, he was everything. She hid him for us. The family name. I get it now, hiding hurts more than the truth. The pause. Eyes flicking to his. And your speech. The gown. To us. Brave. Like her. Warmth bloomed. Tentative. Thank you. But, she added, voice sharpening, there's a price. Harold found emails, mother discussing your career. Felix? The gossip rags descend. We Hawthorns value discretion. Joshua's stomach nodded. Blackmail. Velvet gloved. What do you want? Leave Willow Creek. Quietly. Take the money. Rufus. Start fresh elsewhere. Protect the estates. Reputation. The room spun. Alex? The creek walks? The firelit nights? No, he said. Firm as oak. This is home. Victoria's lips thinned. Then the letters go public. Eleanor's, scandal, and yours. Think of Alex. Small town. Joshua. Folks talk. She left him there. Echoes fading. The weight of her threat a millstone. Joshua wandered the stacks. Fingers trailing spines, Slaughterhouse 5. Cat's Cradle, stories of loss and reinvention. But his story? Was it doomed to fracture? He didn't tell Alex that night. Couldn't bear the shadow in his eyes. Instead, they drove to the overlook. Truck bed lined with blankets. Stars a scatter of diamonds. Rufus chased fireflies below, baying joyfully. They lay entwined, Alex's fingers tracing constellations on Joshua's skin. Penny for him? Alex asked, breath warm on his neck. Just grateful. Joshua turned, kissing him deep, pouring unspoken pleas into it. Stay. Fight. Love me through this. But Saturday brought the storm. Package arrived, unmarked. Addressed to Jade Vortex. Inside, a USB drive. Labeled our greatest hits. Joshua's hands shook as he plugged it into Eleanor's ancient laptop. The trunk's jazz record spinning idly nearby. Videos, not just the leaked one, but a montage, Liam's curation of their nights. Stolen moments turned voyeuristic. Joshua mid-laugh. Gown slipping, whispers of, I love you, twisted intimate. And the finale, a new clip. Timestamped last week. Liam's voiceover, Jade's happily ever after? A lie. He's using you. Small town boy. Rage boiled. Hot as stage lights. This was betrayal's evolution, not destruction. But dissection. Carving Joshua open for sport. He smashed the drive under his heel. Plastic splintering. But the damage echoed. If Liam had this, others could too. Alex found him like that. Crouched on the study floor. Shards glinting like tears. What happened? Joshua looked up. Shattered. My past. It's here. Wanting blood. Alex knelt, pulling him close. Then we burn it. Together. But burning wasn't enough. That afternoon, as leaves skittered across the lawn, Liam's car, a sleek Audi, alien in the gravel drive, pulled up. Emerged. Smug in Ray-Bans. Bouquet in hand like a suitor's prop. Peace offering. For old times, Alex stepped forward. Fists clenched. Get off our land. Liam's gaze slid past him to Joshua. Our land? But he's mine. Grease monkey. Always circling back to the spotlight. Joshua's voice was ice. Not anymore. Or I call the cops. Trespassing. Extortion. I've got proof. Liam laughed, tossing the flowers at Rufus, who snarled. Proof? Like your little home movies? Already backed up? Darling. One click. And your fairy tale ends. Alex here learns what a slut his diva really is. The word landed like venom. Old wounds reopening. Joshua flinched. Alex growled. Advancing. Say it again. But Liam was faster. Phone out. Dialing dramatically. Sheriff? Yeah. Domestic disturbance. Enough. Joshua lunged, snatching the phone, hurling it into the creek beyond the fence. The splash. Vanishing. Liam's face contorted, shock. Then fury. You bitch. Alex grabbed his collar, hauling him to the truck. Drive. And don't come back. Liam spat curses as he peeled out, tires spitting gravel like bullets. Silence fell. Alex turned, face ashen. Home movies. Joshua's confession tumbled out. The USB. The money. Liam's endless grasp. It's poison. Alex. All of it. Alex pulled him inside. Door slamming finality. In the kitchen. Over whiskey Eleanor's stash. He paced. Why didn't you say? From the start. Habit, Joshua admitted. Glass trembling. Hiding kept me safe. Until you. Alex stopped, cupping his face. I'm not running. But we can't build on secrets. The beat. Eyes fierce. Come clean, to the town. Own it. Or it'll own you. The idea terrified. Exhilarated. The coming out? Public and proud, not as Jade. But Joshua? Scars and all. Monday's town hall meeting was packed. Eleanor's estate, celebration, Victoria's olive branch turned spectacle. Banners fluttered, remembering Eleanor, heart of Willow Creek. Potluck tables groaned under pies and pulled pork, the band tuned up. Folksy covers in the air. Joshua waited backstage. Nerves electric. Alex's hand a lifeline. Victoria nodded from the podium. Her speech rapping, Mother taught us grace in the unconventional. Tonight, we honor that. Then, Joshua Hayes. The room hushed as he stepped out. No gown, just jeans. A button-down rolled to elbows. Rufus leashed beside him. Microphones loomed like judges. I'm not here to eulogize again, he began. Voice steady. I'm here to confess. Murmurs stirred, he pressed on. 6 months ago, I came to Willow Creek broken, a performer who'd lost his stage. A man who'd lost his way. Eleanor saw me, tired me, killed me. She knew my secrets, that I'm gay. That I was Jade Vortex. A drag artist from the city lights. Lights that burned me when a lover betrayed me. Leaked my private pain for public sport. Gasps rippled, a few phones rose. But Joshua held firm. I hid here. Walked dogs. Fell in love. His gaze found Alex in the crowd. Smiling fierce. But hiding dishonors Eleanor. So here I am, complicated. Committed to this town. To making it home. Silence. Then applause. Scattered at first. Then thunderous. Old-timers nodded, kids hooped. Victoria approached. Hand extended. Welcome. Officially. In the throng, Alex kissed him open-mouthed, unashamed. Proud of you, but triumph soured at midnight. A knock, frantic. Alex answered, Joshua trailed. Dread pooling. Bloodied lip. Eyes wild. Help. They jumped me, your fans? The video's out, I didn't. His phone dangled. Screen cracked. A tweet queued. The montage. Geotag to Willow Creek. Betrayal's final twist, not Liam's doing. But a hacker? A rival? Chaos erupted, Liam collapsing. Sirens wailing. Joshua called 911. Alex staunching blood. In the ER waiting room. Fluorescent hell. Liam gripped Joshua's hand. Sorry, he rasped. Lost control. You were right, let go. Joshua nodded. Pity edging anger. Goodbye. Liam. Dawn found them home. Rufus guarding the door. News spread, the tweet viral. But Willow Creek rallied, petitions. Posts of support. Our Joshua. Our Jade. Alex pulled him to bed. Bodies aligning like puzzle pieces. We made it. Joshua smiled. Tears salt sweet. Encore? Winter clamped down on Willow Creek like a jealous lover. Snow blanketing the Victorians' gables in hush-white forgiveness. The scandal's aftershocks rippled outward, national blogs sniffing at drag star's small-town sanctuary, TMZ clips of Joshua's town hall speech looped with sensational spin, from glitter to grit, Jade's queer comeback? But here, in the creek's frozen bend, it was different. Neighbors shoveled his walk unasked. The diner comped his coffee with winks and keep dancin'. Han. Even Victoria sent a fruitcake, dry as her wit. But the gesture gleamed. Joshua and Alex dove into domesticity with the fervor of survivors. They cleared the attic. Eleanor's trunk a treasure trove, Reggie's sheet music transcribed for Rufus's howls. Gowns refashioned into curtains that shimmered like memories. Joshua started classes at the community college, playwriting, channeling Jade's fire into scripts of outcasts finding voice. Alex, ever the tinkerer, restored Eleanor's old Ford Roadster, painting it crimson in tribute. They rehearsed lines on the rug. Rufus as captive audience, tail-thumping approval. Yet under the idol, fissures lingered. Liam's attack had been a mugging, random thugs in Albany. His Audi stolen. The tweet a vengeful hack from an ex-employee. He vanished post-hospital. A curt email to Joshua, clean break. Be happy. Closure. Bitter as black coffee. But the videos lingered online. Fodder for trolls who DM'd slurs, freak. Joshua blocked them. But the barbs stuck. Nights when he'd wake sweating. Alex's arms his anchor. The true conflict brewed in spring's thaw. Mud sucking at boots like doubt. Victoria called one drizzly April morning. Voice uncharacteristically tentative. The estate's finalized. But a condition. Mother left a codicil, for you specifically. A performance. Joshua frowned. Phone cradled against his shoulder as he kneaded dough for biscuits. Performance. At the Hawthorne Gala. Annual fundraiser. She stipulated, Joshua will close the evening, in her honor. The pause. With song. Whatever suits. The gala, Willow Creek's black tie pinnacle. Held in the old mill-turned-ballroom. Swells from Albany mingling with locals in rented tuxes. Eleanor's pet project? Funding art scholarships. Joshua's stomach flipped. Drag? Here. Victoria's laugh tinkled. Genuine. If you dare. Mother's ghost demands it. He hung up, staring at the dough, sticky, unformed. Alex, wiping grease from the roadster, caught his eye through the window. Spill. Over lunch, biscuits flaky triumph, Joshua relayed. Alex's grin split wide. Hell yes. I'll be your roadie, but fear coiled tight. The gala was public, one wrong note, and the trolls feasted anew. What if they laugh? Or worse, hate? Alex cupped his chin, thumb stroking stubble. Then they laugh at Eleanor too. And you know her, she'd join in. Rehearsals became ritual, the attic transformed stage. Trunk gowns dusted off. Joshua chose a sapphire number. Fitted and fierce. Lips rouged to match the creek summer hue. He penned a number, encore for Eleanor, lyrics weaving her letters with his scars. We danced in shadows. Loved in light/ghosts of us burning through the night. Alex clapped off beat. Rufus bang harmony. Their laughter a bomb. Gala night arrived velvet dark. The mill aglow with lanterns strung like stars. Joshua arrived incognito, jeans, hoodie, Rufus kennelled with the vet. Alex, dapper in borrowed cummerding, squeezed his hand backstage. Break a leg. Or a heel. The hall thrummed, Victoria in emeralds. Harold nursing scotch. Townsfolk glittering awkward. Speeches droned, grants awarded. Toast sloshed. Then Victoria, to close. As mother wished, Joshua Hayes. Spotlight hit like revelation. Joshua stepped out as Jade, hair pinned in waves. Gown swirling. Mic in gloved hand. Gasps hushed to awe. He scanned faces, Alex front row. Eyes shining, kids wide-eyed. Parents murmuring approval. The band struck up, jazz infused. Reggie's echo. Joshua sang. Voice cracking heavenward, from Ohio fields to city spires / I hid my heart in sequined fires / but you. So, you saw the flames / whispered, dance, and called my name. Tears traced his contour, the room leaned in. Spellbound. Victoria dabbed her eyes, even Harold nodded. As the final note hung, applause erupted, standing ovation. Cheers shaking rafters. Alex rushed the stage. Bouquet of wildflowers in fist. Kissing him fierce amid petals. Backstage, Victoria embraced him, stiff, but real. She'd be proud. In the afterglow, over champagne in the green room, a stranger approached, mid-40s. Salt and pepper. Suit tailored sharp. Joshua? Jade. I'm Marcus, producer. Saw your speech online. That number? Electric. Ever thought of Broadway? A one-man show, your story. The offer dangled. Glittering hook. New York called, vindication. Validation. But Joshua glanced at Alex. Laughing with locals. Rufus sneaked in at his heels. Tempting, he said. But my stage is here. For now. Marcus slipped a card. Doors open. Spring deep into summer's languid heat. Creek waters lazy and alive. Joshua taught a drag workshop at the library, teens and 20-somethings. Tentative in thrift finds. Blooming under his guidance. Alex proposed mid-walk. One July eve, on bended knee in the shallows. Ring a simple band etched with a hound. Marry me? All our encores. Joshua's yes was a sob. Kiss salt-tanged by river spray. The wedding was Willow Creek pure, backyard of the Victorian, under oaks strung with lanterns. Victoria officiated, ordained online. Her smirk divine. Rufus ringbearer. Bowtie askew. Vows exchanged. I promise to walk your dogs. Mend your heart. Dance through your storms. Guess, townsfolk. A few city friends who'd braved the drive. Harold, tipsy toastmaster. Honeymoon. Road trip in the Crimson Roadster. Route 66 echoes. Diner stops. Motel dives. Nights under alien skies. They talked futures. Kids maybe. Via surrogate. Joshua's play debuting local. Then perhaps broader. No hiding, Alex vowed. Hand on thigh as deserts blurred by. Fall circled back. Leaves a bonfire carpet. At Eleanor's grave, simple stone etch danced. Till dawn, Joshua laid a single red rose. Alex's arm warm around him. Miss her. She's here, Alex said, kissing his temple. In us. That night. Fire crackling. They slow danced in the parlor, barefoot. To Coltrane on vinyl. Joshua's head on Alex's shoulder. World reduced to heartbeat and harmony. No by kitsch, just life. Laced with loss but luminous. Eleanor's lesson. Love's the longest run. Encore's infinite. In the quiet, Joshua whispered, here's to secrets revealed. Alex smiled. And lives reclaimed.